On the island of Tenaku, we have developed our own sport. This sport is called Kaiko Hoyo. In this sport, we have mixed aspects of the island to create a unique game. The aim of the game is to make sure that the other team is extinct, so make sure that the opposite team has no players left. To extinct the players of the other team is simple. You just need to discard them, which means that you have to throw the ball against their bodies. This way you make the players unplayable, so they don't form a danger to you and your team. In this game you need a lot of materials. The first things you will need are 2 horses. These horses will be placed at the end of the long mat. The third material you need. The horses represent the mountains, the long mat the passage through the mountains. The next materials you need are blue mats. Of these you will need 10. The blue mats represent water, in which caimans live. The last material you will need are 2 balls. Make sure you have soft ones, otherwise this game could get dangerous. In the game you have 4 different roles. Most of the players will be gazelles. They play on the biggest part of the field and have blue ribbons. The role of the gazelle is to throw the balls at the gazelles or other roles of the other team. If a gazelle or other role is hit by a ball, it needs to sit on the bench at the one side of the gym. The gazelle or other role can be released if a ball is thrown through the basket ring. This rule also counts for pumas, ibexes, and caimans. If a ball is thrown through the ring of the opposite team, all animals of the team sitting on the bench are released and can play like nothing happened. The next role is the caiman. They wear a green ribbon. The caimans live in the water, which is next to the long mat. The water is the blue mats. The goal of the 2 caimans of one team is to discard the caimans of the other team. If the caiman or caimans of the other team have executed both caimans of the opposite team, they can go to the water of the 2 executed caimans and from there discard gazelles and pumas of the opposite team. Next is the ibex. They wear yellow ribbons. In one team there are 2 ibexes. The goal of the ibexes is to throw a ball through the basket. At first they play from the same field as the gazelles. When more and more animals are discarded, it is time to do something about it. They have to go on the long mat. Around the long mat, water is placed. If they touch it, they would execute themselves and have to go on to the bench. When everything goes smoothly, they would walk on the mat of the opposite team. When the ibex is on the mat, they would have to have a puma or 2 with them. Too bad that the opposite team can have a ball too. The opposite team can discard you, while the ibex tries to save their team. If the ibex scores the ball, the whole team of the ibex is free and can play again. After scoring, the ibex needs to go back to base as soon as possible, since the ball has fallen in the field of the other team. There is only one slight problem. You are not allowed to walk with a ball in your hands or anywhere else on your body. That is why we also have the pumas. The pumas are the little helpers of the ibexes. The pumas wear red ribbons. You have 3 pumas per team. The pumas and the ibexes are the only ones allowed on the mat. If another animal steps on the mat, these will be executed. The pumas need to follow the ibex if it is going onto the mat. One of the pumas will stay off the mat. This puma would have one of the 2 balls. The first puma throws it to the second puma to the third puma, and the third puma to the ibex, who will try to throw it in the basket. The game is over when no players are left of one team. That are the rules of the game. If the teacher thinks the game lasts too long or not much is happening, he or she can put another ball in the game. This way, it will only be a matter of time before the game is over.
The connection of our sport with our country is actually very simple. The most connections from our sport are with the environment. The horses that we use to climb over and throw the ball are the mountains. In the mountains, there live the ibexes. That is why the people who need to climb over the mountains are the ibexes. Another connection of the environment is that the small plumets that are used to present rivers in our country. In the rivers, there live the caimans. That is the reason why the people who are the caimans only can come in the rivers. Thirdly, we have the long plumet. That is the passage through the mountains. In the passage through the mountains, there live the pumas. They are only allowed to walk on the long mountain because they live there. The rest of the people are the gazelles. Their job is to throw the ball at the other Chinese animals except caimans. The gazelles live at the biggest part of the field. They are not allowed to touch the water or the passage through the mountains. We have named all the people as animals because most of our country represents as animals. There live almost more animals than people in our country, and we find animals really important.
This is also the reason why our sport is called Kaike or. This means animal sport.